70,000 what?
US dollars.
US dollars.
Every year.
With that space.
Rental-wise, you can't get it. Let's look at the capex, the money that you've put in. I've put in 20 grand to build these things. So you will be nowhere near me.
Hey, if I think you are hearing this. Why tomatoes and why paper?
By the end of the year, money for the greenhouse that I've paid in, and for these guys, and for everybody else, I'll be sorted.
By the end of this year?
Next year, all of this money is for my house.
So it means we are going to have something like 7,500. This is an average farmer with the worst case scenario.
We had 3,000 road runners there that were staying in there, going on to grace.
3,000 road runners?
Yes.
And that space there?
In that small space there. No matter how lazy you are, you will find one or two things that you can do, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes, because right now, you know what, I actually have a farm, but the thing is, the farm is big, over 200 hectares. But you know,
you don't know where to start.
You know, you are thinking,
and you want $1 million, right?
You know it, So you know what?
But $1 million is added up from $1, 50 cents going up.
Yes, because you know you'll be thinking 100 hectares.
And again on 100 hectares, brother, please don't start with 70 hectares of soybeans. Start with 2 hectares and learn them. Then you can go.
Yes, then you can
I promise you that weight and learning
is worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people have put in money into farming, and some people have gone defunct because of this kind of setup. They just want to go big.
I heard people saying, boots in farming. Yes, so we want to thank the sponsors of today's video, that is Agri Rocket Engineering. We appreciate you for supporting us on this YouTube channel. I also want to appreciate all the guys who are paying to become members of this YouTube channel. You guys are supporting us. If you want to be a member of this channel, you just have to connect. There's a link in the description. You will see it. You just connect, and you are the people who are making this channel to be something. I see you are now thanking me by supporting what I'm doing. So we want to keep on doing videos, and we also want to try by all means to make sure that we bring you videos every single day. But for me to be able to do videos every day, you know, it's possible for me to do these videos every day, but and this was Kwanisi. So I will need your support so that I'll be able to pay someone who will be able to do the editing. Kuti tikupe my videos every single day. We are going to bring more and more content on this YouTube channel specifically for you. If you've got anything that you feel we need to bring in on this channel, please make sure that you say it in the comments, because nowadays I am reading all the comments, I am commenting, I am replying, I am liking, I am making sure kuti munhu wese akwanisa kuwana mukanda wekutaura something that we can hear. Kana pane chamoda ti improve, feel free to connect as well. Obviously, I always ask people to be respectful, because ukataura neni uchintuka unongoziva uda kunditewo sei, you understand? Ngataura nezvakanaka tawana wakuru tese, and on this channel hatitukane, tinongotaura zvinhu tichiuya nemapoints edu mune zvakanaka. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you guys. Let's get into the video. Do
sweet potato, bambaira.
In Masaga or
no, we're going to fill this place with soil and manure.
All right.
Then we eat my potatoes. I can bambay.
All right.
But the whole idea for us here is to start tabuda ged. We must have almost everything else that we want. Yes. And I say almost because even if we can't keep a cow here, if she sells the tomatoes, she'll buy a kg of meat. She's kept a cow.
So yes.
In Mambra.
So we are limiting buying. We are more.
We're producing.
We are producing.
And the important thing about producing is nowadays, and this is another hat that I wear. I'm a master of public health.
All right.
Despite my technology, computer science background.
Yes.
You've seen there's a rise in chronic conditions,
Yes.
which we used to read from offshore.
Yes, yes.
Sugar, and cancer, and BP, they are now here.
Yes.
It's because of the kind of foods that we're eating which are processed,
Yes.
which we've got no clue what's in there.
Yes, that's
Right.
true.
So the whole idea of producing and eating what you know makes you healthier,
Yes.
longer, and
you know exactly what you put in.
know exactly what you're putting.
Yes.
Panapa, we don't do any fertilizers.
No chemicals.
If you get into our garden, anything else that we do was from the compost that we produce from the button mushroom after it's spent by the mushrooms. We put that as organic fertilizer. As you saw, when you came in, there's a heap of mashanga and that horse manure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we use here.
You know, it's very interesting. You know what you're doing here? You know, I actually have a question.
Yep.
Before I forget, like this one is a very big space when you look at Harare.
In terms of staying and playing football, not farming.
Yeah, instead, yes.
Right.
So my question is, most people when they have a space or a place like this one, they usually put cluster houses, and you are actually planting trees.
I'll tell you, when I did my math for the button mushroom project, our mark was to have at a minimum a net of 70,000 US every year.
70,000 what?
US dollars.
US dollars.
Every year.
With that space only.
Yeah. So every month we were producing a ton. If for argument's sake, call it $7, which is $7,000, right? 4 houses. If this other 300 square meter greenhouse that Chame has built me now, if I'd put it into a mushroom house, that would mean I would have twice this size, which means I'd probably be around 5 tons every month. Now times 5. Even if you build cluster houses,
you can never get that.
Rental wise, you can't get it. Let's look at the capex, the money that you've put in. I've put in 20 grand to build these things. So you will be nowhere near me.
Hey, if I think you are hearing this, if you have not heard it, please rewind and listen again.
So this is an experiment that my wife is doing. Remember, we told you this is a plot where we're experimenting to go big in the future.
Yes.
This is ginger. So she's planted this. I'm not too sure when, and she's monitoring it, seeing the kind of conditions that it wants to grow.
All right.
She's got an idea to till 10 hectares sometime.
Hey, of ginger.
And if she tells me enough that I've planted this in so many months, it took this, it needs this kind of attention, and this is what I'm producing, I'm going to give her the money to do it, because it will be a properly researched thing. And
yes, you know,
going straight to
it's researched.
Yeah.
Hey,
so that's ginger.
you know, I think some of the ladies or even the people who are here who are going to be watching, you are learning some of these things. You need to make sure you give yourself a chance to learn how these things work, not just to go in 10,000.
The girl will ask you for what?
Yes, for what?
And you can already see and
then you know some people understand, I don't want to support her. No.
Yeah. So while this thing, there's just too much work going on around. So we haven't the time to fill with manure. We want to finish planting the tomatoes and the pepper first. Then we can attend to this part.
This side, all right.
So meanwhile, we said, so we can build a temporary pond. So that when we're removing the fish there and fixing, we can put them here. Then we attend to that, and then what needs to go back can then go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a temporary.
It's a temporary setup, but it's advantages when you have got stuff to work around.
Yes, you have got stuff. Yeah. So this
is a 200 micron.
All right.
Paper. Engineer, you can confirm. Yeah.
All right.
But it's just temporary.
All right.
Because this can be compared to the tarpaulin that we're talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Which way? This way?
This way.
All right.
So the place is changing. All of this, I love trees. So this and that tree have gone. Before we got into, so this is now refurbished to be a tomato greenhouse. When we were doing button mushrooms, the shade was welcome. So we had left the trees there so that it remains cooler in there.
All right.
But now the tomato guys want sun, so I had to cut these trees and.
All right, yeah, they will need more sun.
Yeah. So this is a refurbished one, waiting for tomatoes to come in. This trenching that needs to happen.
All right.
This is now being used as a storeroom, but it used to be a pasteurizing room for button mushrooms.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So the process for button mushrooms, in short, is you do a month of composting, mixing horse manure, chicken manure, blah 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 blah. But button mushroom is a fungi, so you need to pasteurize, put it in there in trays when it's ripe, fire up from behind. Temperatures go around 120, 140 degrees. You kill off every other fungi that's in there, so that when they put in the compost for planting, it's your fungi, the mushroom is the one that's doing
the only one. Yes. Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now it's.
So this one is the pump for.
So this is a booster pump. Because on the day in our old days for button mushrooms, we had foggers. In the houses for humidity. Because your button mushrooms need 75 to 80% humidity all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So what you're saying, you have to make sure that it requires a lot of
So
attention.
this depends where you power acorn for this particular rooms. You can see from here. My wife was experimenting with eggplant as well. Yeah, and it looks like that's the eggplant. Yeah,
I don't think I had seen it before.
But this is now.
I just see it on WhatsApp.
Now it's dilapidated. Yeah. So that's the horse manure that's getting in, and this is topsoil they're removing from the newly constructed 300 square meter greenhouse for your 1,860 plants. They tell me.
1,860 plants for paper. For paper.
Colored paper.
So this is going to be paper, and this is going to be tomatoes. Right. So can I ask, why tomatoes and why paper?
Okay. So for us, again, it's receding down to crops that don't need too much attention.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're also, as part of our learning, knowing that we don't have to do these things by ourselves all the time.
Yes.
Now, growing up, I'm having to have more and more commitments.
Yes.
I also now need to learn to trust some other people.
Yes.
So he's given me a stand-in agronomist.
Okay.
Who can come in and attend to tomato and pepper while I'm doing my hunting elsewhere.
Yes.
Which brings money to some of these things.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are less attention seeking to us, and also this delegation I'm going to do to the agronomist.
All right.
It means free time for me to do other things that I love, like trapping the bees.
Yeah, you love bees. So you're going to the bees. So would you recommend?
Speaking of the bees, can you see this? This is a trapper. That's just caught bees. I'll take this down and transfer it to the garden, but you can pause that for now. We'll have time to go to the bees. We're still with the greenhouses.
We still have the greenhouses. Yeah.
Machinda, zviri kufamba.
Right.
Team yangu iyi ndinoshanda nayo panapa.
Yes.
Ndo vari kurova ma-trenches. They've picked up after Chamu finished the construction of the greenhouse. As you can see, this is brand new.
Yes.
300 square meter.
All right.
That's the team lead is called Philip.
All right.
So this is where the 1,860 colored paper crop is coming. But what we're doing now is they're trenching. Philip and the agronomist have told me that they're going to do 3 parts of 5 centimeters where there is horse manure, dry matter, and then some basal fertilizers, and then topsoil, and then repeat the process 3 times again. What they're telling me is once we do that at a proper scale, it means at a minimum we'll have, I don't know if it's 5 crops or 5 years before changing the manure while we're just producing.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
So I was discussing with Chamu on the cost benefit analysis, or the business cases I like to call it. He tells me if I do this properly, by the end of the year, money for the greenhouse that I've paid him, and for these guys, and for everybody else, I'll be sorted.
By the end of this year?
By the end of this year.
So basically what happens...
Next year, all of this money is for my holiday.
So basically what happens with these wooden greenhouses, though we have many types of greenhouses, but in this case we have a wooden greenhouse, a 300 square meter. We expect a payback period of 1 season, which is 1 year.
Right.
So we are saying the cost of construction and the cost of production inside the greenhouse, we must have it back within 1 year. Actually around 8-9 months we will be celebrating, saying, okay, it's the reason why we give you an agronomist to guide you, so that we hold your hand, so that we direct you how to navigate and to get back your money.
All right, so all right, so you are saying if I say I want you guys to come and do this at my farm, you also give me an agronomist.
Who advises you on all necessary things, fertilizer application programs, chemical application programs, even market insights, or as well as how to select the seeds, considering how the market is responding, also in the time of the season. We are going in winter is coming, some they say winter is coming, or we are approaching winter, but we are in business. We have to make sure that we are taking advantage of those seasons and maximize our profits. Where there is less supply in market, we have to produce that crop or that product.
Precisely. So the whole idea around horticulture, if you want to make it intensive and make money, is you need to be producing for off-season periods.
Exactly.
All right, so you target off-season.
This is 300 square meters. You know, I've got a cousin in Mutoko who's doing 10 hectares of tomato. How do I compete with that guy on such a small? But you know what? The whole of this period from end of April, May, June, July until August, he's got nothing.
Yes, he can't.
This is where I come in.
So at that time, you are the one, like, people are worshipping you.
Well, they are my customers. I'll be worshipping them.
Crops like pepper, they don't do well outside the greenhouse because they are sensitive to sun scorching. So you definitely need to cover them. So with the greenhouse and pepper, they pay better compared to tomatoes.
But you know what? Someone is going to ask. Let's say you are talking about this 300 square meter greenhouse.
Yep.
Can you talk numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I in my small mind, I say this 1,860 plants that are going to be planted in here.
Yes.
Now, I off-head, I can't tell you the benefits that will come on how much is expected. The agronomist or Chamu, they've been in this much longer than I am, so I'm happy to give them space to speak
explain
about that. But on an overall, that's what I was trying to say. They've promised me that if I do this by the book and give these plants whatever they want,
everything that they need,
then by the end of this first season, the money for the construction, put in for everything else, that money will be back. So for me, the payback period is pleasing, and the return on investment is sort of guaranteed.
Yes, it's
but guaranteed. Again, we must be honest with each other. You get what you put in.
Yeah, that's true.
If you do this thing haphazard, you can't expect to get a proper tenant.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
So on this greenhouse, let's take for example tomatoes. I would want to start with tomato because tomatoes, they are heavy eaters.
Yes.
So I want to work with worst case scenario. When we are advising our customers or farmers, we want to work with worst case scenarios.
Yes.
Because this is not gambling, this is not cryptocurrency.
Yes.
When it comes to farming. So in this greenhouse for tomatoes, we have to have about 1,000 plants.
All right.
So taking into consideration that we have 1,000 plants, each plant producing something like 15 kgs per plant, per the whole season. So that translates to 15 tons. 15 tons. Selling them, usually prices they fluctuate.
Yes.
But we take a worst case scenario again on the price of selling our tomatoes per kg. We say 50 cents per kg. Considering that tomatoes from a greenhouse, they are of higher quality because they are not exposed to harsh weather conditions.
So they've got a longer shelf life.
They have a longer shelf life.
Better taste.
Better taste because we are putting manure. As you can see, this is more of the palatability is more original, and they are also. If you look at them, the skin, because they are not exposed to harsh weather conditions, the skin is appealing. It's good. It's attractive. So at the end of the day, with those 15,000 kgs of tomatoes that we are expecting per whole season, we sell them at 50 cents per kg. I know you know the market price. Tomatoes, they can go up to even $1 per kg. Even $1
but it's fine. Let's be conservative. 50 is fine.
50 cents.
So it means we are going to have something like 7,500. This is an average farmer with worst case scenario. So we are saying at the end of the season, we are going to have 7.5. So subtracting the cost of constructing this greenhouse is around 4,000, and the cost of production, inputs like seedlings, fertilizers, they are around $800. So we are talking of something like plus or minus 480. 4,800 is our cost. So we deduct that amount from 7,500. So you mean you now have your greenhouse paid back.
Yes.
Your cost of production paid back. But you have next season
where you fly.
Where there's no deduction of this structure.
You're now going.
Because, you're flying. You are flying because now you have experience. You now have connections of market. The best thing that I've noted with these urban projects, they have better monitoring.
Yes,
because
you're close.
The owner is close.
Yes, you're
so
not doing it over the
high
phone.
rate of success.
Yes.
So unlike when you are farming, when you are doing your farming, maybe in Gweru, you have to travel, you have to prepare 2 days. You are in case of emergency, you can't attend.
Yes.
So I encourage these urban farming strategies because they have high success rate, and their success is our success.
Is your success.
So it's the reason why we encourage them to do it.
And that's why you are saying you also give the.
It's very warm in here.
Yeah. It's actually warm.
The environment that is needed by plants.
For these plants.
Is the reason why you see that in Honde Valley, in Mazoe Valley, there's a lot of farming activities because of warmer temperatures.
It's warm and it's humid in there.
Humid, yes.
So the growth rate is faster.
All right.
Okay, so
Right.
yeah, so that's it. So,
we are getting to the...
this is the garden area. The plans here is to utilize this shed, and we're going to need that shed net to cover just this portion.
All right.
So that we can do your lettuce and other things that don't like too much heat and that are cooler in this particular space. So this is a portion that we want to do that. Maybe if she says we do shelves, goodbye, take more space.
All right.
We'll see that.
So it's going to be a space also. I'm going to try something more.
Yeah, definitely.
Go, how do you get these beds to have money?
That's a clever bed because it knows you can't touch it there because those guys are protection. Nature is
interesting,
Okay, yeah, very true.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the other ones.
Yeah, they know.
So you can't just go there. So nature, God is amazing.
So what about them? Are they safe?
They are safe. They are friends.
They are friends. They are friends.
So this part, I think, as an African man, Zimbabwean, I'm going to maintain my tsunga, my kovo, and everything else. So we're going to redo the whole place, put nice proper beds, and we'll bring engineer to do a drip setup here, so that we can water our vegetables, can have carrots and some other stuff for the household.
For the household, yes.
Yeah. So this is the staff quarters. So at peak with button mushroom, we had 8 staff members that we now full time here.
Full time.
Because you do composting every day, you do cutting and cleaning and watering,
also the
and
monitoring
the intense
as well.
part I was talking about.
Yes.
So we had eight people were staying here.
All right.
The lead and his lady would stay in there because the lady would help in the kitchen.
In the kitchen as well. All
then
right.
there'll be boys squattering in the cabins.
The boys' quarters.
So there's 2 cabins, and I'm sure that will be more than enough for house help and greenhouses, because this is not too much. Because if you don't water in there, you put in a fertigation tank and it drips, and you
won't be needing mayane cane.
Right. So before we did anything when we bought this property, that portion where it's fenced, where there is beehives, we speak about beehives. We had 3,000 road runners there that were staying in there, going on to graze.
3,000 road runners.
Yes, and we even bought a 352 incubator. We were selling chicks that were breeding here.
And that space there?
In that small space there.
So, you know, some of us, when we are in an area and we are saying
so we enjoyed a bit of that business for a short time because at that moment you would sell a cock for 15 US.
Yes.
Road runner before everybody else started doing it. And a hen maybe for around 10. So you would wait for 6 months to get that kind of a profit compared to 6 weeks for $4-5 for a broiler.
Yes.
But then before you know it, the dynamics turned.
Yes.
The price went down. Too much supply of road runner. You would sell a cock at most for around $8, and the female for $6. So we figured out you couldn't wait for 6 months to sell it the same for. So we went back into broiler model. But because of what we believe in our eating and the things that we are doing, we're going back into the road runner setup. Yeah. So there's a few road runners and guinea fowl in there. You can see. That's my nice guinea fowl cock, and the female is just behind there. I'm sure she'll jump onto the thing soon.
So this is the one that had 3,000 or that space?
They would sleep in here, but that space, that's where they would graze.
All right.
Yeah. So what I've done, this part is I've closed off because it's now an apiary. But I'm going back into the road runner setup. They'll sleep in here, and I'll open up 2 portions so they can get out, scratch and play in and maintain their road runner setup.
Right.
Organic. And this is why I've done this fencing part.
All right.
Yeah. So what I'll do is this net, I'll remove it. I'll buy the fishing nets that are closely knit and put on top so that no predators come in, but there's direct sunlight for the birds. So it becomes proper organic in there.
Hey, you know what? You know, I'm seeing this. It's like my eyes are opening up like this.
That's the idea. When you get into this gate, you do this door. No matter how lazy you are, you will find 1 or 2 things that you can do, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes. Because right now, you know what? I actually have a farm. But the thing is, the farm is big, over 200 hectares. But you know,
you don't know where to start.
You know, you are thinking,
and you want $1 million, right?
You know it. So you know what?
But $1 million is added up from $1, 50 cents going up.
Yes. So now I'm seeing that I can just say, you know what?
This small portion.
Yes. Let me work on this one. I don't need, because you know you'll be thinking 100 hectares. And
again on 100 hectares, brother, please don't start with 70 hectares of soybeans. Start with 2 hectares and learn them. Then you can go.
Yes, then you can then.
I promise you that wait and learning
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
People have put in money into farming, and some people have gone defunct because of this kind of setup. They just want to go big.
I've heard people saying, no boots in farming.
Right. So second last piece before we go to the kennels.